vote, Senator Franken, if that's your, okay.
Thank you, Senator Kennedy.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Justice Stras, welcome. It's good to see you again. And thank you for the opportunity to speak, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to address your decision to no longer require blue slips from both home state senators before scheduling a hearing for circuit court nominees. Mr. Chairman, the blue slip exists for a reason. Under both Republican and Democratic chairmen, this committee has deferred to home state senators when considering judicial nominees because senators of both parties recognize that the blue slip plays a critical role in ensuring collaboration between the Senate and the White House. When the process works as it should, the White House joins with home state senators to identify nominees. And when the president and the senators are of different parties, that should mean identifying consensus candidates. You said so yourself. In 2015, you wrote in the Des Moines Register that the blue slip is designed to encourage, quote, consensus between the White House and home state senators. But reaching consensus requires meaningful consultation, and in this case, there was no such consultation. Mr. Chairman, I am under no illusion that even after a meaningful consultation, President Trump would have nominated the type of jurist that a Democratic president would put forward. But the White House should be sitting down with senators in both parties to seek their guidance and input. However, prior to Justice Stras's nomination, I took part in just 2 conversations, and there was a single staff-level conversation with the White House counsel's office, and the White House made clear its intention to nominate Justice Stras from the outset. Now, Justice Stras is a devoted public servant, and I committed to reviewing his record in full. However, during both of my conversations with the White House, I also expressed severe reservations. I voiced concerns about his professional experience, which signaled a very conservative view of the law. And I also expressed concern that after then-candidate Trump had outsourced the job of identifying potential Supreme Court nominees to the far-right Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society, that the groups included Justice Stras on their short list. Nonetheless, and despite making clear to the White House in each conversation that I doubted that I could support the nominee, the White House proceeded to nominate him. Mr. Chairman, in light of the White House's disrespect for the Senate's constitutional role, I voiced my objection using the only means available to me, by withholding my blue slip. But despite the fact that you and I hold very different political views, I hope that you would respect my decision and that you would protect the prerogatives of your colleagues. Instead, you decided to abandon a long-standing practice that Republican senators use time and time again. During the Obama administration, Senate Republicans used the blue slip to block 18 judicial nominees, including 6 circuit court nominees. No nominee ever received a hearing unless both home state senators returned a blue slip, a policy that remained in place even during the 6 years when Democrats controlled the Senate and Senator Leahy chaired the committee. The decision of home state senators was honored by this committee even when senators returned blue slips and then later rescinded them, and even when senators refused to return a blue slip for nominees that they had previously approved for lower courts or had recommended to the White House in the first place. But most importantly, Mr. Chairman, Republican senators refused to turn in blue slips despite the fact that they were meaningfully consulted. When the majority leader refused to return a blue slip for a Sixth Circuit nominee, he said, quote, "I've had a back and forth with the administration for a year and a half or 2 over that particular seat." Let me say that again, a year and a half or 2. Mr. Chairman, that stands in stark contrast to the consultation that I received. I could go on, but the point is that no matter how one felt about the decisions of those Republican senators, their decisions were respected by the chairman of this committee. Mr. Chairman, in the same Des Moines Register op-ed, you wrote that, quote, "Senator Leahy, my immediate predecessor, steadfastly honored the tradition, even as some in his own party called for its demise. I appreciate the value of the blue slip process and also intend to honor it." Well, Chairman Grassely, if this committee is going to honor the blue slip, it should honor it consistently, not just when it is politically expedient for the majority. Now that members of your own party are calling for the blue slip's demise, I had hoped that you would protect the prerogative of all senators, Republican and Democratic alike. But in the absence of meaningful consultation and in the face of disregard for the Senate's constitutional role, I do not think that the Senate should cede its power to the executive branch and end this long-standing custom. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the time.
Senator